For today's inner work, we will talk about how you've actually developed your identification thus far, because you're here right now to further dive into your own individuality, to express yourself confidently, and to also find your own creative blueprint, right? We're each our own being, and thank God, you're not your mother or your father. You are not society's glamorized image, because that is just reducive. No, you are a unique individual, and today we will honorably explore the development of your identification thus far. And then we'll get into how to really solidify, really root into your individuation moving forward. So let me just plant a seed for this entire video. We are going to utilize the body and the mind and the unification, the synthesis between the two, so that we can understand this developmental process and also honor it moving forward. The physical body, the mind's eye have to be in sync throughout this process. No matter where you're at on your inner work journey, there has to be an identification between the two of them. They always meet. So the seed that I am planting, and just write this down if you need to, your physical body is flesh. It is as real as it gets, which means that the body is reality, which you experience life through. Now, the mind's eye is more of just perception. You can think of this almost as like the unconscious in a way, where it really doesn't have any form. Not yet, it doesn't have any form, but it's images that you receive. You're constantly receiving through the mind's eye, and you're realizing, this is how I'm accepted. This feels good. This feels bad. This is acceptable for society. This is not. This is how I am going to build myself. So the mind's eye is image. The body is physical reality. Okay, so now that I've planted that seed for you, let's move on and we will dive into this, the development of identification. Now, I'll be utilizing Alexander Lowen, his book, The Betrayal of the Body, and the reason I'm doing this is because, like I said, the unification between mind and body have to concretize. It really is the process moving forward to where you're not just experiencing yourself through this idolized image, but rather you're experiencing it through your body, which is exactly what we'll get into. So, Bioenergetics is great. Alexander Lowen is fabulous. I'm actually currently reading, sidetrack, I'm currently reading his book, Pleasure, and it's just pleasure. It's just pleasure. It's just so good because he advocates for people to live in their body, to breathe, to feel, to experience life and the greatness of life. And it's all through the physical vessel, which turns on a light, and it allows you to live through the heart and to experience another person in such a beautiful way. So, sidetrack, now we're back on track. And if you have this book, The Betrayal of the Body, I will be reading from page 240. And this is to really give you a clear vision on how you've actually developed yourself thus far. Okay, so he says, where am I going to do this? Okay, he says, identification occurs when a child incorporates into his feelings and thinking a parental attitude in order to cope with the hostility underlying this attitude. In this process, the attitude becomes part his own personality. As long as the identification remains unconscious, neither the child nor the adult has a choice in his manner of responding to a situation. To the extent of his identification, he is his mother or his father, often both, and he behaves as they would. So if we go back to where it says, identification occurs when a child incorporates into his feelings and his thinking a parental attitude in order to cope with the hostility underlying this attitude. You are holding this unconscious emotion, this feeling that had been suppressed. So the hostility is towards, it's a suppressed emotion towards the dominating parent or that dominating environment. Think about right now the dominating parent, which you may have some tension towards. However, you may also be taking on some of their traits. Think about the environment as well in society and how there are so many rules and just systems that we follow because modern man we're supposed to. However, it takes away our creativity. It takes away our sense of self. It is so reducive. So think about the systems and the programs that we are abiding to really make ourselves small and curl into the program. And it's just, yeah, I'm getting so deep into this right now, but let me pull back my emotions so I can be here with you. So the hostility is really suppressed emotions that you carry towards the dominating parent or the dominating environment. And this means that you may have half of your mother's personality or half your father's. You may not have either of their personalities, and you may just take on values of society, right? So think about that. And what happens in this process is there's actually a denial of all the feelings, which means that your ego literally dissociates from the body. Your mind's eye disconnects from the physical body, from reality. So the images that you're receiving, it's only through the ego's lens. It's not through your body anymore. The ego disassociates, and the images that you receive just become distorted. And it's a download of unconscious content all the time. Yes, you may be aware of some things, but the majority of the time, it's like our unconscious takes in everything. So actually, I should say the subconscious takes on everything. The unconscious takes on a lot of the repressed content that is the shadow realm. So we authentically need to feel. That's what this comes down to, is that we have to come back to the body. The mind has to be in sync with the body. So, and that's to uncover our full potential creative individuality. Now, how we do this for the long run, the entire time, as we choose to really know who we are, in the greater picture of all this, is that we have to be free from the image, and we have to stand on our own 2 feet. You have to stand on your own 2 feet, which means that we are clearing the mind's eye and we are reconnecting with the body, the reality of what is. And that means self-expression has to become volitional. It has to take on a volitional quality. Your ego has to actually produce an action based off of the feelings that you're experiencing. And the only way that it's actually volitional and the only way it's actually empowered is when your mind's eye and your physical body say, yes, we are making an agreement together. What you feel is true. The image now is not distorted. It's not another person's image. It's not another person's voice or dictation. It's nothing from the external that is swaying you anymore. Rather, it is full synchronization of your internal with the mind's eye, thus creating your external. So it's really a process, and it takes a lot of practice. But I will say with this, just to give you an example, think about someone in your life that they take on such a stance for themselves, and it's not an aggressive stance. It's not a in your face, I have to make my point across stance, but rather it's just so graceful. It's so fluid and very humble, and they carry themselves with such a poise. It's a very magnetic energy that they have, and you can be around them and be yourself because they are themselves. So think about someone in your life that is that, right? How do they really honor their own individual essence? And also, let me just invite you forward with this, is that you're safe to have an opinion. And I found that this is really difficult throughout this whole process because we are constantly being bombarded with, what we need to do and say and how we need to feel and how we need to dress and act. And social media is just wild right now. It's so loud, so many voices. But how do you actually give yourself space to have your own opinion? Yeah, it's very interesting. Have your own opinion. You think it would be easy, but also maybe your opinion may be based off another person. Just throwing this forward to you. So the way that we actually form our own opinion as well, let me just give you a little bit more cushion, is that we are doing this through self-assertion, through really asserting yourself, and that is by knowing what you feel. You have to ground really deep into the sensations and the feelings of the body and allow those to be there with you, to be present with you. Feelings are very interestingly, very curiously scary for a lot of people to experience fear and anger. It's just so easy to suppress these because it's like you want to just maintain your everyday life. But in reality, if you're continuously suppressing emotions, that's affecting your nervous system. And then you're actually acting on this fight or flight, response. And it's just really foggy and messy and you don't have any roots. So as I said a little bit earlier, like, you have to stand on your own 2 feet now, which means that you have to assert yourself. And in that self-assertion, you will find that utilizing your voice, you're safe to have an opinion, that you're expressing yourself for you. It's self-assertion and then it's self-expression. And it's through that it becomes very authentic. It is your own unique essence and your own unique way of speaking up for yourself, of having a flavor for life, right? Like you have your own palate. What you like is not what I like. And thank God for that, because you're your own individual, and it's so much more attractive to connect with others when they're so confident in what they want and what they think and what they feel. So we are unifying the feelings and we are grounding really deep into the self-assertion that you may have to test reality with. You may go too far and assert yourself too much and realize like, oh, I have to backtrack. That was a little aggressive and I'm a little embarrassed with myself. But you're learning, right? You're learning how to assert yourself. You're learning how to express yourself. You're learning what you like and what you don't like. This is individuality at its finest, is being so in tune with everything that you feel that it doesn't feel like a cutoff from the rest of society. Rather, it's just like you're just being you. It feels so natural. So what do we do moving forward? This is the application process. I always recommend, please pick up this book. Any book that or any video that I do, I always have a book recommendation. So please pick up a book and read about it for yourself. But the application that we will do for this is that you should really sensitize yourself to experience emotions. Sensitize yourself to experience emotions, which means to be able to slow down and utilize your everyday experience. After you watch this video, go out in the world and start stating, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Be able to slow down, observe what you feel, identify with that feeling, and experience others with this stance and allow them to come forward to you with their own stance. Allow them to bring their energy forward and be open and receptive to it. We don't have to all agree, but we can definitely hold the tension to let everything be. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but it happened. It happened. So let me just leave you with this, okay? May you feel what it means to live for yourself, to discover your true identity, recover feelings, and gain the ability to express them courageously and appropriately. So I hope this has helped you understand the development of your identification and what you have to do moving forward to really root deep, plant your feet into your individuality, your creativity, your expression, moving forward for the rest of your life, to feel really confident in who you are and feel so secure, so safe being here. So with that, I will see you in my next video.